Islam Makhachev actually has to wait in line after he wins the belt, which would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie. If he actually won the belt and then made Islam wait to fight him. Let me see the direct quote real quick, so I'm not talking bullshit. Illia Topouria, Islam wait line. Right here. Yo, Yurgen. Thank you for the gifted sub. WW. Says right here, Islam from the beginning wanted to give himself an image like he had some decision. Topouria remarked, said about a week ago, I do not plan to leave the title vacant. Who's gotten away with it? Me after this fight. When I have the belt, he might get in line, which is a long one. So more than one's eyes will be shining. Makhachev threatened to retain his lightweight title regardless of the UFC 315 outcome, but vacated it. Nonetheless, it was the best case scenario for both champions since Topouria banked his lightweight move on the UFC's promise of an undisputed title shot. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. His next fight's gonna be pretty big. Yeah, Yurgen, I've been good. Streaming on Twitch and YouTube right now. Over on the Canvas Hub as well. Glad to be back, bro. Honestly, I've been meaning to go live and do a just chatting stream for a while now, but I don't know. I took a little break, but we're back now. We're back at it, and we're going crazy. We got 10 right now on YouTube, 5 on Twitch. We ballin'. But I do think Illia Topouria's next fight is gonna be substantial for him, honestly, bro. I think he really kind of has to make a statement after moving up a weight class. He's gonna have to put on a show and not necessarily be flashy, but he does need to get the win because after moving up a weight class, you can't really get rolled for your next few fights. So I think that he needs to lock in, which he will do. I think he was just training with somebody. I think he was training with what's his name? Usman, Topouria and Usman. Unless I'm tripping, Topouria, Usman training. Yeah, they're boxing. Which is really good experience for him, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, his fundamentals for boxing have really always been there in my opinion, but like his wrestling is good too. That's why I think that the Makhachev matchup is actually really, really good because they really have both. Like Makhachev can grapple, and that's what I think he defaults to most of the time. But like he also has striking. Like Khamzat is a different case because I think Khamzat has less striking, and actually is worse at striking than Makhachev is. I mean, I feel like that's especially evident in like the 3 round fight that Usman and Khamzat had because even though Khamzat can dominate on the ground and really grapple and out grapple anybody in the UFC, in my opinion, he can't stand up and fight, bro, for long because like when he's winded, it really takes a toll. And again, that's natural with like every fighter, but I don't know. Like it's especially evident in him because had that been a title fight and a 5 round fight, Usman could have definitely won that fight had that fight lasted longer. But it is what it is. Usman caught the L, and I'm not coping. I just feel like I'm giving my opinion right now. I'm not like a Usman, Usman's number one fan. That's not me, but I just feel like he could have won for sure if the fight was longer. I remember watching that live. It was actually a really good fight too, and Usman took that on short notice too. But I do think, sidebar real quick. I do think Usman's legacy took a humongous hit when he took that Hamzat fight on short notice, bro, because it's crazy, man. Like he Usman, Volk, and Adesanya flashback maybe 5 years ago. They were literally all the faces of the UFC. They were all the faces of the UFC. And it's wild now to see where they're all at. Volkanovski has lost, I think, 3 or 4 fights. Didn't he get knocked out twice by Makhachev? And he, I believe, lost to Topouria as well. I mean, they built up Max Holloway. Holloway got beat by Topouria. Max Holloway's been in the league, in the UFC for a minute though. He's good. I like Max Holloway. One fighter I haven't really been fond of, but he does seem like a great guy. I just feel like maybe I haven't seen enough of his fights. Is Justin Gaethje. I feel like he comes from a similar era, or maybe even the same era that Sean Strickland comes from. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they weren't that good until like a few years ago, and now they're getting like all these title shots. So I think Justin Gaethje deserves it, but I don't really think Sean Strickland deserves to be on top, getting like all these title fights. I think Dreykus needs to fight Hamzat. I think honestly the fight to make would be maybe Izzy and Strickland. I feel like that would be a good fight to make. Um, they could do a lot with that too. The press conference build up would be good. There's already a little bit of a rivalry. Izzy's gonna want to get back at him. Strickland really only does the Philly shell and teep kick. So I mean, I think that would be super funny to see. It would be super entertaining. I think that would do numbers as well. Now, speaking of numbers, bro, I think everybody knows that John Jones versus Tom Aspinall would do the most numbers in the UFC. I'm just curious to see if, you know, they work out that deal and get it done. I think, and this might be unpopular, I haven't really, like backed up this theory. It's just kind of something I'm thinking right now and maybe like a little bit in the past. But like, bro, like, if their deal runs out with ESPN, which it did for the UFC, then why would they make their biggest fight before they're signed to their next deal? Like, it would make the most sense, in my opinion, to sign the huge deal and then put on like a bunch of big fights. Because, like, you already have the leverage that you need. Unless, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here that maybe you make the fight. It's kind of like the Drake and Kendrick beef. Maybe you make the fight and then that increases your leverage. It's like what Drake was trying to do in the beef with Kendrick, where Drake took the beef because he thought that if he won the beef, that would have increased his leverage even more for his next deal. Because, as you know, he signed a $400-500 million deal with his label a few years ago. And I mean, realistically, winning that beef would have been crazy for him. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that would have created all the leverage he needed. But now the reason he's running into all these problems is because, I mean, for lack of a better word, he lost. You know what I'm saying? But now he doesn't have that leverage to go into his next deal because his label can really just be like, oh, well, like, you're saying you want like over $500 million, and like you just lost. Like, you're clearly on like the decline. So like they could really make an argument against him, which is like worst case scenario for what I think Drake was trying to do. Um, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. Definitely something that I would keep my eye out for, because I think one or the other is gonna happen. I think right before the deal happens, they're gonna put on like a super fight for the UFC, or it's gonna be right after the deal is signed. Because to me, honestly, it makes the most sense for the UFC to put the fight on after the deal, because I feel like they've created like a pretty good amount of leverage. Um, their product is like out there. Investors might know generally what they're gonna get, but with this fight, that's like a exception because the numbers are gonna be way up for that. Way, 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 way up, way up. I feel blessed. One thing that was crazy in the I was about to say the NBA. Sorry, that was an earlier topic in today's video. But one thing that happened that was crazy in the UFC recently was Paddy Pimblett won his fight against Michael Chandler, bro. Paddy the Pimple Pimblett won his fight against Michael Chandler. And bro, I was pretty surprised. To be honest with you, I feel like Michael Chandler's just like a giant punching bag. Um I feel like he is just really there for entertainment. I don't think he is that skilled of a fighter. I think he's good, but like to a certain extent. Like Dustin Poirier is like 10 times the fighter that Michael Chandler is, in my opinion. Like Michael Chandler just gets like super beat up like every fight he's in. It's just like it's wild, I'm not gonna lie.